Good evening, everyone. Erik Proseus with MemphisWeather.net, recording this at 7 p.m. Wednesday evening, February 15th, and just wanted to provide a update for you on tonight's severe weather threat that's going to be ongoing during the overnight hours and into tomorrow morning, and bring you the latest information we've got and some things to remember as we head into this. So, with that, I'm going to flip over here and we'll take a look first at our severe weather graphic. For this is for the overnight hours tonight, is valid through 6 a.m. tomorrow, and just to show where we stand right now, there is a enhanced risk of severe weather across the metro. It's level 3 out of 5. Enhanced risk of severe weather, indicating that there could be quite a few strong to severe thunderstorms during the forecast period, and some of those could produce some significant severe weather. Our timing that we have on this for at least most of the overnight hours is going to be starting here in a couple of hours. As I said, it's about 7 o'clock now. We're looking at thunderstorms going to be firing off to our south and moving north with a warm front that's going to be moving across the area. Yes, it is warm and muggy. We did make it into the low 70s today, and dew points are the low 60s, but as a strong low-level jet starts to work into the area and position itself overhead, that will force even more moist air up over the area. Dew points will climb a few more degrees, and strong southerly winds will kick in, and that will put us in a warm sector, which is where the best likelihood of severe weather does occur. We will see those storms continue off and on overnight. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes, and actually probably into the morning hours on Thursday as well. So this is not going to be a one line and it's done type of event. This is going to be a multiple round or a kind of semi-continuous severe weather possibility. So our threat levels for tonight include that enhanced risk of damaging winds of 60 miles an hour or higher. That is probably our greatest concern at this point, is for strong winds out of the system. We also see the distinct possibility for a few tornadoes that could occur during the overnight hours tonight. There is a great deal of wind shear in the atmosphere. One of the key ingredients for the potential for tornadoes is having some unstable air in place as well, and that instability is sufficient tonight to produce that potential for a few tornadoes, and a couple of those across the region, not necessarily right here in the metro, but across the region, a couple of those could be strong. We also have a little bit lower risk for hail. We might get some hail out of some of these storms as well, and there is a minor flooding threat in addition to that. So let's switch over and take a look at what the radar might look like as we go into the overnight hours tonight. And I'm going to start this. This is the latest run of the HRRR model, which is one of our high resolution models that is not necessarily perfect on where exact storm placement is going to be, but it does give us an idea of what the radar might conceptually look like, kind of in coverage and in general intensity of the storms. This is 9 p.m. now, and we're going to move through this. Memphis is right here, just to the center, just to the right of center. And we'll start to see some of these storms coming up out of North Mississippi and into the area. This is 11 p.m., and you see how that coverage has increased quite a bit across the Mid-South. And those storms continue over the metro at midnight and at 1 a.m. and then to about 2 a.m. You'll see a lot of that starts to move off to the north behind the warm front. A little less coverage as we get a little bit deeper into the night, at least at this point, showing about 2 or 3 a.m. So that first wave of storms is our first is our first potential, and honestly, that's probably because these are individual storms that are moving through, and not just organized in a squall line, but they kind of have their own little environments around each one of them, and those are probably the ones that I have the most concern for the potential for tornadoes. Some of those could be supercellular, and so the region has a threat for a few tornadoes during that time, as well as damaging winds and large hail. Now, as we go farther into the overnight hours to 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. and 6 a.m., you see we still are not completely dry. There is a front that's going to be closing in on Little Rock around sunrise tomorrow, but all of this area in front of it is still in the warm sector. We're going to wake up tomorrow morning to scattered showers and thunderstorms still around the area. Cannot rule out the possibility of one or two of those being severe. The temperatures will still be in the mid 60s with that southerly flow. And then as we go into the morning hours, 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. and 11 a.m., we finally get this cold front to basically line up and move east of the river by late morning tomorrow. But you see, during that time frame, we've got additional scattered showers and thunderstorms. And we are still in a severe weather risk for tomorrow morning as well. For most of the metro, that is a level 2 slight risk. It is not the enhanced risk that we've got during the overnight hours tonight, but it is not nothing. So again, we could still see some strong wind gusts out of these storms and perhaps some hail, and that's where this forecast ends, is right there just before noon. But after that, into the afternoon, all of that shifts off to the east. So running through one more time here, we have this first wave that comes in, say between 9 or 10 p.m. and about 2 or 3 a.m., and then scattered storms continue behind that, and then more organized storms that move through during the morning hours tomorrow after daybreak and until that front gets here late morning tomorrow. And once that front gets here, those 60s go away very quickly. Temperatures will drop on northwesterly winds during the afternoon tomorrow and will be down close to 30 by the time we wake up Friday morning. Let's talk for a few minutes about how to be prepared for this then. First of all, we want to review tornado sheltering guidelines. You need to make sure you have this figured out in your home, wherever you're going to be overnight tonight, and make sure you know what your options are and where you will go should a tornado warning be issued. If you are in mobile homes, we recommend that you find someplace else to be tonight. It does not mean that there is going to be a tornado where you are, but it is best that you are not in one of those in the middle of the night or any time when there's the potential for tornadoes in the area. Those are basically just large vehicles, and nothing against the living options that you've got available to you, certainly, but we want to make sure that you're safe. If you can find a stick-built home or someplace where someone will let you spend the night there, you need to consider that. Of course, we're probably not going to have a lot of people in gymnasiums and so forth during the overnight hours, but anything that is a large truss structure with high roof and very little support underneath it, not a good place to be either. Better options, obviously, are into your well-built home, a well-constructed home or building, a stick-built home, interior room, lowest level, and away from windows, away from doors. Put multiple walls between you and the storm. If you've got a basement, there are very few of those around. If you have a basement, that is even better. That certainly would be a good place to be, even if it's just for a short period of time when a warning might be out for your area. And finally, if you've got a storm shelter, you know that is the best place to be. Moving on to making sure that you are getting warned during overnight hours. This is a concern here in the Mid-South. We do get a fair share of tornadic weather overnight, and when you're not necessarily going to be staying awake and just watching TV all night to see what happens, you need to make sure that you have multiple ways of getting warned overnight. Those would include things like weather radios, your smartphone alerts. Most recent, just in the last few years or so, smartphones have wireless emergency alerts. You make sure those are on, that they are enabled. A lot of times people disable those. Make sure they are on. Make sure that your phone for those is not silenced overnight and that you will be able to receive those. And of course, you've got severe weather alert apps as well, which can be programmed for your location, that you can use to warn just for your specific place. If you are under a tornado or severe thunderstorm warning, we recommend Stormwatch Plus for that. Stormwatch Plus is one of our creations. And it does allow you to set individual locations that you can be warned for. It will only wake you up with a loud audio sound if there are tornado warnings or severe thunderstorm warnings for your location, not for someplace else in the county or across a viewing area. So we recommend that you do that. Stormwatch Plus is a good option. It does have a small monthly subscription rate, but it's very affordable. It is life-saving, and if you set it correctly, you'll be able to get those alerts overnight For iOS devices, it does override Do Not Disturb. You probably want to keep your phone close by and maybe keep the Do Not Disturb turned off anyway, but it will override Do Not Disturb for iOS devices. For Android devices, we've put some information on our Facebook and Twitter page on how you can ensure that you get those alerts. It does not override Do Not Disturb without your making some changes to the settings to allow it to do that. But just make sure that you have a plan, that you are ready, that you know the difference between a watch and a warning, and that you have multiple ways of getting warnings overnight. And finally, we recognize as we get into the early part of our spring severe weather season that this is not necessarily something we're accustomed to dealing with. We do get that one on occasion, but especially overnight, it can be stressful. And we certainly realize that. We stress that you be prepared, not scared. And there are ways that you can take action to make sure that you're a little less stressed out, perhaps, over the situation. Preparing in advance. If you're listening to this, thank you for that. That is one way that you can prepare. Know what you're up against, and know that just because we have a tornado risk over the area does not mean that a tornado is going to occur or that it's going to occur where it would affect you personally. The odds are very, very low. But it's better to be prepared in advance anyway. Stay with us. We'll make sure that you're aware of when watches and warnings are issued on our social media pages and how to get that information. You should have multiple warning sources so that you're not reliant on one particular way of getting that information. Keep up with the radar updates. You can get those in many ways on your phones, and if there's warnings going out overnight, television stations will also be breaking in, and we will continue to provide updates throughout the night tonight on Twitter and Facebook as well. And then just know where you are relative to other locations around you. If you're in Shelby County, these storms are going to be coming from the south or southwest. So if you're hearing DeSoto County, Tunica County, Tate County, Crittenden County to our west, those are areas where the storms will be heading towards Memphis and Shelby County from. So know your geography on those as well. So I just want to end this with letting you know that we will continue to provide you updates throughout the night tonight. We're going to help you get through this. We'll keep you updated, and we appreciate that you are following along and getting this information. That will help a great deal as we get through this. But just stay on top of things and have those multiple warning ways to get information. If you do not have your safe place already prepared, you should go ahead and do that tonight, just in case. Not saying that you're going to have to use it. We certainly hope that we do not, but it is best to be prepared and just be ready just in case. So we'll continue to provide updates throughout the night on Facebook and Twitter. Look for that pinned post on Facebook if that's where you're getting your information. It's the top one on our Facebook page, facebook.com/MemphisWeather1. All of our updates will be in the comments on that post. On Twitter, we are at MemphisWeather1, and check out the Stormwatch Plus app as well to get the latest information. Everyone have a safe night tonight. We'll stay with you and see you on the other side.